Chat, are you ready? Documenting the unparalleled $100 million disaster of Mind's Eye, the GTA 6 killer. Uh-oh, big stinky. Let's watch it. I like Muja videos.
Grand Theft Auto 6 is one of the most long-awaited games of our generation. The excitement surrounding it is indescribable and it's very contagious. So much so that I believe it's caused some people to go clinically insane. Because why else would certain people say that Mind's Eye is a direct competitor to Grand Theft Auto 6? With some going as far as saying that Mind's Eye is the GTA 6 killer. Now look, I don't know about you, but I think Mind's Eye is actually a direct competitor to Silent Hill. Because how else would you explain this? One of the...
Did you not even, like, try to make a game? Hello?
The many man-made horrors...
She's got no teeth! What is she, grandma? She's gonna start gluck 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 on it?
Beyond comprehension that we witnessed once Mind's Eye finally released in June of 2025. So how is it that people had such high expectations for this game, but they were crazy enough to even put it in the same category as GTA 6? Well, part of the reason why was because the game director of the studio behind Mind's Eye was the main producer on every single game made by Rockstar Games since 1999, with his most recent
Okay, but director and game producer doesn't mean that you actually can make a good game. You still need to put soul into it. What the hell?
Title being GTA 5. Not to mention that they raised tens of millions of dollars from investors, with one employee going as far as saying that this game actually cost over $500 million. So
more than Concord? Excuse me? 68 in-game? How? What happened?
What the hell happened? How does the game have less than 69 players on Steam right now? Mind's Eye is officially the worst rated game on Metacritic for the year of 2025. A game giving Concord a run for its money. So what went wrong? Well, this didn't happen overnight. This was a multi-year disaster. There were many red flags that were ignored by people, blinded by the hype, and we're gonna go through all of them from the...
I'm not gonna lie, I heard maybe like one or two things about this game, and I was like, why don't just wait for GTA 6 to come out?
Beginning
You missed your shot.
So get ready, let's do this. Vampires are like ice cream. Everyone loves them as long as they don't look like this, which is why a team of developers set out to create the game Silver and Blood.
They got massive titties, that's why people like it.
Sponsor aside, okay, this game's art style is incredible. When I think of vampires, I think of a gothic, dark art style, and this game manages to capture this perfectly, both in its environments and its playable characters like the one you see right now. One thing it does uniquely is that its cutscenes rival professionally made anime. It's indistinguishable from something you'd find on Crunchyroll. This should definitely make your ADHD brain focus on the story for once. And speaking of story, in between these cutscenes, you're going to find some highly engaging strategic gameplay.
Raid Shadow
You'll have many characters at your disposal, all with their unique ultimate animation, also in 2D. And since this is a gacha game, you'll have many characters to choose from, both on release and in the future. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure to click the link in the description or the pinned comment and download Silver and Blood today. Alright, so for you to understand how Mind's Eye came to be, we have to talk about its origin story. It all started with a $150 million lawsuit by Leslie Benzies against Rockstar Games and its parent company, Take-Two. You see, Leslie is a veteran of Rockstar Games. He was there since 1999. His role was a producer, but obviously producer is a very vague term these days. Listing his achievements will probably help more. When I
hear the word producer, I just think that you're just a guy that put a lot of money into it. It doesn't mean that you're actually skilled or do anything. I know not a lot of people are like that, but I'm just saying it's a red flag.
Was the guy who single-handedly formed the team for Grand Theft Auto 3. And as a producer, he continued doing that for the next Grand Theft Autos and leading their entire production pipelines. I mean, when he first joined the company, it was still called DMA Design, or changing its name to Rockstar Games. That's how long he's been at the company. But speaking of company, I'm sure you're aware that Rockstar Games is actually owned by Take-Two Interactive. But
yeah, this new Civ blew so much ass. I can't believe that they released this.
But because of the very big success of their games, Rockstar Games does enjoy a big degree of independence, and it has its own hierarchy. Its main leaders are the Hauser brothers, so Sam and Dan Hauser, as well as Leslie, who's been with them since the beginning, since the days of DMA design. On September 1st, 2014, Leslie decided to take a sabbatical. Think of it like a really long vacation.
What the hell is a sabbatical? Is that something for rich people? Brother, I think that's like a term for rich people. I've never heard the term sabbatical unless you're like extremely well off, because most people fucking have to work.
Lasting 6 months.
Yeah.
Leslie argued that during these 6 months, he didn't receive any of his owed royalties by Take-Two. And additionally, when he came back to the office after those 6 months, he was refused entry. Shortly afterwards, Rockstar Games released a statement thanking Leslie for his contributions and essentially saying goodbye. So less than a year later, he sued them. The lawsuit detailed just how dirty the politics inside of Rockstar Games were, saying that he was forced to take a sabbatical, and that when he did, his own son, as well as many of his friends at Rockstar Games, were very quickly fired afterwards.
Wait, that's actually really fucked up if that's true.
Lawsuit then specifies
even if he's a rich guy, that's still really fucking fucked up.
That Leslie believes this happened because the Hauser brothers, more specifically Sam Hauser, felt threatened that Leslie was trying to take over the company. Leslie, on the other hand, said that without him, GTA 3 would have never been a success because what Sam was doing was mediocre. Take-Two countersued and called his actions bizarre and unwarranted.
Damn.
And back when this happened in 2016, it was a pretty big story because it gave us perspective, an inside scoop as to what happens inside the secretive Rockstar Games. But as this was all happening, Leslie wasted no time whatsoever. 12 months after presenting his lawsuit, he formed a new studio in Scotland as well as a studio in Los Angeles to build a game titled Everywhere. The team was initially comprised of 30.
I hate this. Everywhere. I know, stop. I hate it when they purposefully misspell names for companies like this, even though it's spelled. Where's the E?
People. And they, just like Leslie, were incredible veterans of the gaming industry, having worked on some very popular titles. The company didn't even have a name yet, but Leslie was already making some pretty big promises about what Everywhere is going to be, promising that it's going to be a massive open world where you can do virtually anything. Their website at the time was very simple. That's how it looked. It would just say Everywhere and then would have 4 different sections. What, where, and who told you a bit more about the studio and their very vague vision. And of course, you had a career page. One thing I didn't mention earlier is that Leslie Benzies was actually the director of GTA Online, GTA 5's multiplayer that has generated over $1 billion.
Oh, you're that guy. You ruined the game, essentially. You introduced shark cards, bro!
In revenue since the game's release. So him saying that he was going to make a game that's multiplayer, while saying things like, the vision is long-term with the capacity to develop and grow forever, as well as, our goal is to create a platform where players can be entertained and also entertain others while blurring the lines between reality and a simulated world, was definitely hyping things up to the maximum. This was all said with the announcement of him forming a studio. The studio didn't even have a name. And yet, the expectations were astronomical, and why wouldn't they be? This was the ex-director of GTA Online and the guy who had formed the team for GTA 3. He was also unjustly fired from Rockstar Games, according to him, and was forming his own studio as a way to give a middle finger to his previous employers by making a more successful and next-generation game that will blow Grand Theft Auto out of the water.
There's nothing wrong with it. I actually think that's really good. I wish Blizzard North and like a couple of other companies that basically shattered because of this fucking corpo shit. I think it's a good idea to do that. However, you should never overpromise. The whole like, oh, you can just do anything in my game, and it's like, how about you produce a game first and then say that? I'll be the judge of that as a customer.
That was the narrative that game journalists were going with. The statements that he made flowed directly into that narrative, and people, the consumers, gladly ate that up. And bear in mind, this was all 8 years ago. Now, we wouldn't hear much about the game or the studio until 2020, when the pandemic was in full swing and every studio was beating their records of player count for their multiplayer games. Money was flowing into the industry like there was no tomorrow, and it was the perfect time to find eager investors because the excitement was simply too contagious. This was when Leslie was able to raise over 32 million pounds, in other words 45 million USD, for his studio, which had a name now, Build a Rocket Boy. Yeah, I know, Build a Rocket Boy, everywhere. I mean, seriously.
Wait, Build a Rocket Boy? That kind of sounds like a North Korean reference.
Who the hell's coming up with these names? In any case, they now had studios in Edinburgh, Budapest, and Los Angeles. So 3 different studios, which meant they were growing very fast. By 2020, this was their key staff. And as you can see, it's a star-studded team. Personally, what drew my attention was the cinematic director who had worked on Red Dead Redemption 2 and GTA 5, or the lead programmer who worked on GTA 5. The talent was clearly there. But there was one big question on everyone's minds. When were we going to see like a single detail about what the hell Everywhere was? Well, we finally got an answer to that question in the summer of 2022 during Gamescom, where they would release this 1-minute, 15-second teaser of what this game actually is. And to be honest, it only caused more confusion because what the hell is this? People were expecting something realistic, something that can rival Grand Theft Auto, but all we saw was like a discount Fortnite. To say that people were disappointed and confused.
Yeah, it looks like a Unreal Engine flip. I'm not gonna hold you. This looks like some straight just rip off.
Used as an understatement,
just
but that was until we had reached the 50-second mark in the trailer. This is when, for the first time ever, Mind's Eye would be revealed. Watch.
I am not impressed. Where's the game?
Whoa, where the hell did that come from? Was the first 50 seconds like a prank? Is this the real game? That's what people were hoping for. But instead, things got even more confusing. At the time, Leslie Benzie said that Everywhere was going to launch at the end of 2023, but that it was a completely separate title from Mind's Eye, confirming that they were working on not 1, but 2 AAA games at the same time.
But what? Why would you ever do this? But you're a new usually when this kind of thing happens, at least release 1 game in its entirety. Don't split yourself up. Good lord.
Now, this is already crazy news for a new studio that had not released a single game yet. But don't worry, things got even more confusing. Because according to Leslie, you'd only be able to play Mind's Eye through Everywhere. You wouldn't be able to buy Mind's Eye on like the PlayStation Store or something. No, you'd have to go through Everywhere and get Mind's Eye from there. Yeah, you're not the only one who's confused here. Look, in a nutshell, the whole point of Everywhere is like a knockoff Fortnite Roblox. You have access to a deeply functional level editor where you can make your own experiences for other players to enjoy, and Mind's Eye just happens to be one of those experiences. So what
this looks like Fortnite, like actually. Again, I don't want to say every single Unreal Engine game looks like Fortnite, but it kind of does.
What they were saying is, imagine launching Roblox and one of the experiences happens to be Mind's Eye, which is a ridiculous thing to say, because what they were indirectly saying—
It looks so weird. Look, realistic anime outfit.
Saying here is that Mind's Eye is just a
deadly Indian truck driving.
Another experience that was going to be available in Everywhere, which meant that me and you, regular people, could potentially, in the level editor, create something as crazy as Mind's Eye with Everywhere's tools. You see what I'm saying? But no need to panic. This is not a red flag. You know why? Because they opened a 4th studio in Montpellier, France.
Is this like a tax evasion, like money laundering thing? Why do you have so many studios as a new studio? You're not even a multi-billion-dollar company yet.
They kept expanding even further. And as people waited until the end of 2023 for Everywhere to finally launch, they were only met with yet another trailer. On September 2023, another trailer dropped about Everywhere, detailing the fact that yes, you can make levels, you can play against players or with them, build a bunch of different experiences, showing off the level editor, etc, etc. But
this looks like some ass. Who asked for this?
As you can see from the dislike ratio, people just didn't really care about this discount Fortnite anymore. The most replayed part in this entire 1 minute 42 second trailer is right here, at the 1 minute 19 second mark. You're probably wondering why. Well, let's check it out. Oh, that's it.
That's it?
1 minute 19 second mark. You're probably wondering why. Well, let's check it out.
This is what I want to be. Some purple-haired lady shooting people. What?
Oh, that's it.
What? That's the game. It's not even in the fucking review. What?
Literally 1 second of mind's eye gameplay. In other words, people could not give less of a shit about what Everywhere was. And you can see this sentiment reflected in the comments. Like this one saying, 119 is the only thing I'm interested in from a former GTA producer. A Fortnite knockoff just won't cut it. People were starting to get very skeptical about the scope that was being advertised by this company. They just didn't know what it was meant to be, and every time Leslie opened his mouth to explain, people were left with even more questions. And as you guessed it, because we're in 2025 now, Everywhere didn't end up releasing at the end of 2023. They just went radio silent and didn't update anyone on anything.
Well, yeah, because nobody cares about the game, so they're not going to hold them accountable. I mean, it's as easy as that. Again, if I made a game, I would very rarely talk about it. If I wanted to scam people, I'd very rarely talk about it. Only show little snippets and shit, and that's about it.
The next piece of news we'd get from the studio was that they were going to have layoffs on the 19th of February,
How? You haven't even made a game yet!
24. Not a good sign. You know what else?
And you have like 4 different studios? What happened?
This is not a good sign. This article revealing to me for the first time that they also had offices in Hungary. So far, we've heard of a studio in the United States, in Scotland, in Belgium, in Hungary, and in France. That's 5 in total. And yet, Everywhere had, well, gone nowhere, and we didn't even know if Mind's Eye was going to release. Until the end of 2024, when the studio behind the Hitman games, IO Interactive, announced to the world that they would be publishing the game Mind's Eye. What followed a few months afterwards, on February 2025, was 2 different trailers, one cinematic trailer and one official gameplay trailer for Mind's Eye. But here's the thing, when it came to gameplay trailers like for GTA or other blockbuster games...
You know what's the biggest, gripe with me is that I'm so, the market is so oversaturated. It's not like this is the first, shooter GTA style with cars and shooting robots and shit. Why? Who asked for this?
Games, they would be detailed and long videos explaining mechanics with a voiceover and really showing you the depth of the game. But this
that car looks like it just got dropped in. It has no rendered shadows.
And really showing you the depth.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, very realistic for sure.
Of the game, but this felt more like a cinematic trailer, or more like a teaser, really. It only showed you very specifically selected clips with a few seconds of gameplay in each of them. At this point, Builder Rocket Boy's trademark was showing you something that leaves you with more questions, but not in a good way, and it was...
You shoot the car and it instantly blows up.
Pretty much what happened here too. They also released a story trailer, which was mostly just a cinematic trailer yet again. I mean, it was just cutscenes, no gameplay whatsoever. But hey, the game had finally gotten a release date, June 10th, 2025, or as we know it, Judgment Day.
Whoa.
But what about Everywhere? Well, barely 2 weeks before Mind's Eye's release, on the 29th of May 2025, we'd finally get some sort of confirmation that Everywhere was pretty much dead in the water. Build a Rocket Boy had confirmed to the Video Game Chronicle that the entire creation suite, the entire level editor of Everywhere, was going to ship inside of Mind's Eye. In other words, Mind's Eye was meant to be a part of Everywhere, but now Everywhere is a part of Mind's Eye. Feels like we're in some Doctor Strange movie.
You don't think that's confusing? I think it's kind of confusing.
But this was just an unofficial way of saying, hey guys, Everywhere's dead. We're now focusing all of our resources on Mind's Eye. This was a huge red flag, but people were still hopeful, thinking,
what are you focusing on? The second game that doesn't even have a name for it?
Okay, well now that you're focusing on one thing, I'm sure you're gonna make it worthwhile, right? Well, hey, game journalists sure pushed that narrative. I mean, look at what PC Gamer said when the official story trailer came out. This was the title of their article. The new game from former Grand Theft Auto producer Leslie Benzies is coming in June, and boy, it sure looks like a Rockstar game. Or how about this ridiculous title from Games Radar, saying, former GTA 5 lead properly shows off his new city-sized action game coming this summer, and yep, it looks like Cyberpunk 2077 meets GTA.
That's a bit of an insult because at least Cyberpunk, the trailer, looked pretty fucking hype. Yeah, they might have lied to you at the time and it was unplayable at launch, but I don't know, man. This is some ass.
Like, bro, shut the fuck up, man. God, gaming journalists are a plague. The game was already hyped beyond belief, and this was only confirming that hype. I mean, this is a French video game website calling Mind's Eye the next rival of GTA 6.
Le prochain rival de GTA 6.
He talked about these comparisons 8 days before Mind's Eye released, and he downplayed these Grand Theft Auto 6 comparisons, hyping the game even further by saying, as an independent studio, we have the freedom to break ground in experimental new ways, and the challenge is balancing innovation with familiarity. Too much new risks alienating fans, too much same feels stale. It's about nailing what makes your game's world feel alive and urgent. Mind's Eye is about consequence and connection. It's cinematic, reactive, and meant to feel like a world you're not just playing in, but able to create in too. So guys, this is not just another Grand Theft Auto knockoff. This is like the Elder Scrolls Skyrim with the creation engine, but on steroids. Guys, this game's gonna be played in 2040. You just watch, okay? But here's the thing. One day, and I'm not even joking here, literally one day after that interview with Leslie came out, and 7 days before the game...
The CFO and the CLO fucking left. They jumped ship instantly.
Game's release, the chief legal officer and the chief financial officer of Builder Rocket Boy left the company. I mean, at that point, if you had actually pre-ordered this game, then I wish that Total Biscuit was
They literally ran with the money, man.
Still alive so that he could slap you across the face. But if you had pre-ordered and seen this article and hadn't refunded at this point, then you deserve to lose your money, because what the hell is this? 2 executives departing before the studio releases in 1 week is an insanely major red flag. And they were onto something. Others were also onto something too, like this article from Gaming Bolt here saying Mind's Eye's marketing is a complete mess, arguing that the game was about to release and we still hadn't gotten a proper gameplay trailer yet. We didn't even-
That's because there is none. What do you mean? How are you supposed to produce one?
know what the hell this game is other than a few cinematics and very carefully timed clips of some tiny aspects of gameplay. Additionally, this game hadn't even supplied anyone with review copies. As this comment here points out, even Gollum gave review copies. Gollum! The worst game of 2023. But guys, don't worry, okay? This was a previous producer of the Grand Theft Auto series. This was going to be a rival to GTA 6. This was him giving a middle finger to Rockstar Games. Come on, this has to work, right? Well...
Bro, the eyes are closed and the teeth are, like, on the... Chat, do we have any, like, coders in the chat or something? What does this even mean? How is this possible? Is it like beep boop, like it glitched out the phone? This is terrifying.
Release day came by, and to say it was catastrophic is an understatement. PC Gamer, who was hyping up this game like there was no tomorrow, released this article shortly after its release, saying, "I've played 2 hours of Mind's Eye and it's pretty bad so far, I'm afraid."
And I love the game journalists are like, you need to play more than 2 hours to tell if a game is bad or not. I hate that logic so much.
The Guardian released their review, saying, "A dystopian future that plays like it's from 2012, giving it a 2 out of 5. And guys, when people say this...
2 out of 5. Not a 1, a 2. You do realize 2 is, like, playable, right? Yeah, I was gonna say, like, that's generous.
Game is glitchy. They are not exaggerating one bit. There are compilations over 10 minutes long that are like part 1, part 2, part 3. Simply, I mean, look at this.
Whoa, look at that tearing.
Simply because there are just that many glitches.
Absolute Unity moment.
Dude, what the hell is this game?
Dude, this looks worse than, what was that thing before VR chat? Second Life? Yeah, this actually looks worse than Second Life.
Hey, bro, look at this. 7 years for this. 7 years for this.
Bro.
Oh my god, dude. This post right here says, this generation's Assassin's Creed Unity, brothers and sisters, look at it in all its glory. I'm telling you, man, this is a competitor to Silent Hill, not Grand Theft Auto. This is horrendous.
This is terrifying.
Some people tested out the level editor to see if they could swim in the water when they got close, and yeah, apparently you can.
He's Jesus. He can walk on water.
Just like Jesus would. And the horror game continues. Guys, I don't even want to delve into how this is even possible. This person's on a stretcher while standing up. Again, I don't know why this is such a common glitch.
Bro, she's got back hair. Oh my god, she's got back hair growing out of her back.
This doesn't make any sense to me. Wow, this is the main character, by the way. This is the main character in the cutscene, by the way. Yeah, I mean, this is nightmare fuel at this point. I don't know how IO...
Do you guys know the meme where it's like awooga and your like eyes pop out of your head? That's kind of what this reminds me of.
Interactive agreed to publish this. I don't know how PlayStation didn't see the red flags, but there we were. Horrors beyond our comprehension.
Awooga.
A day after this catastrophe had released, Mind's Eye said, our engineering team are working around the clock while promising a performance update. Because guys, guess what? It wasn't just funny glitches. This game was crashing and stuttering on some of the most high-end PCs imaginable. It was a mess in terms of optimization too. And just to be clear, the optimization issues also stretched to consoles. The game launched with a mostly negative review on Steam, and it still is, at only 37% of the reviews being positive. Bear in mind, this game also had the gall to sell you a deluxe edition, containing a bunch of skins and a premium pass.
Chat, there's a premium edition to join the Discord. You have to pay me $1 million to get access to Discord. It's normally free, but you should like totally give me $1 million anyway.
Containing extra missions and challenges, Q3 2025.
Wait, what? Extra missions? What missions? You don't even have a functioning game!
Q4 2025 and Q1 2026. Yeah, that's totally happening. The reviews weren't talking about just the stuttering and the glitches. This game was very disappointing in practically every category, including the story. The problem here was that people were concerned with the story's total length, being at 20 hours. Leslie addressed these concerns by saying that
20 hours for $60. That's even if you can't even play the game, chat.
this is intentional to ensure players can finish the game in an era of distractions. Probably the
They just said that the Zoomer kids are pissed, dude. Oh my god, the kids can't play games. They're too stupid. I mean,
worst explanation
like,
you could give. But hey, Leslie kept insisting this story was going to be amazing until people actually played it and realized this is one of the worst stories they could have ever played in their lives. Not to mention that the ending was one of the worst things I've ever seen. Look at this. Look at this. It literally ends like this. He just jumps in the portal. That's it. That's it. The game's over. Like, that's, you get no other context.
Crash counter 6. This guy only crashed 6 times.
You get no other explanation. Deal with it, buddy. Hope you enjoyed the game.
So he blew himself up.
You know what's funny in all this? A couple weeks before the game's release, the co-CEO of Builder Rocket Boy, not Leslie, someone else, said this in the Discord server for Mind's Eye. A fan asked, "Do you think that all the people who reacted negatively to Mind's Eye were financed by someone?" To which
I wish I had the time and the effort to like spread propaganda in my free time. That would be so funny.
She replied with, 100%. Doesn't take much to guess who.
Look at
indirectly implying that Rockstar Games or Take-Two was paying people to react negatively to this game. Now, what's really funny and embarrassing is that barely a day before the game had released, the publisher of Mind's Eye, IO Interactive, said that they don't believe negative comments were being paid for.
I wish I got paid for negative comments. My lord, I'd buy everyone a Big Mac.
Head of IO Interactive specifically said, I don't believe that.
For free.
I don't believe that. I just think the game should speak for itself on June the 10th. And boy, did it speak for itself. Kotaku made the review and said, Mind's Eye is an incredibly boring and confusing mess. Yep, it spoke for itself, all right. To me, what's even funnier is the fact
even the game journalists couldn't defend this one.
that they used up all their marketing budget on streamers. Yes, they paid people to play this live on
Dark Viper AU highly recommends this Mind's Eye after his great experience. Wait, why does this name sound familiar? Isn't this guy kind of a dick? I have this vague memory of this name. I know him from somewhere, but I can't remember from where. He's a speedrunner for GTA. Yeah, but he's been yeah, there's like a drama with him. I just can't remember who it was.
Twitch, and even those streamers couldn't keep it together because of how bad the game was. With this streamer right here, Dark Viper AU, literally laughing his ass off after the game had crashed for like the 10th time on stream. Like he couldn't handle it anymore. This right here is another sponsored streamer, and this happened live. Watch.
Outrageous cyber infiltrations, even hacked the CIA.
We got him back!
It leaves no footprint, ever. Other than the occasional fuck. Sounds like a true one.
Oh my god!
I just find it so ironic that Extra Emily, out of all people, had a glitch related to her driving. I mean, genuinely, life is truly the master
I was about to say, did this happen before or after?
of irony.
That's
Around
really
a week
funny.
after its release, Mind's Eye finally released a performance patch, and very little was actually improved. It was still glitchy as hell, frame drops were consistent both on PC and console, and overall, it was still unplayable by every metric. At its peak on Steam, it had 3,302 players, and right now it's at 52. 52 at the end of June. And what's even crazier is Sony pulling out an extremely rare maneuver that they've only used once for Cyberpunk 2077's disastrous launch, which is actually refund people who...
Oh yeah, they didn't refund Concord, did they? Wow, they actually thought it was that bad.
Bought the game on the PlayStation Store, indirectly telling us that to them, even in their eyes, this game is unacceptable. Xbox, on the other hand, wasn't so generous and wasn't refunding anything if you had launched the game at
Bill Gates said, fuck you, go fuck yourself. You're down to $60. Classic.
least once. This entire saga kind of came to its conclusion on June 23rd, 2025.
Oh, that's so
when
funny.
Build a Rocket Boy, the studio behind Mind's Eye and the Cancelled Everywhere, began the process to conduct a mass layoff. And since then, the layoffs have officially taken place. They released a statement. Here's what they had to say. We can confirm that we have had to make the painful decision to notify our hardworking team of some internal changes at Build a Rocket Boy. While we are working to reassign roles for as many of those impacted by these changes as possible, sadly, we are initiating a formal consultation process that may result in redundancies. The decision has not been made lightly, and we are committed to handling this process with transparency, fairness, and respect for all employees. We will provide further details to the team over the coming weeks. The launch of Mind's Eye has been a significant milestone for Build a Rocket Boy. But we know that we still have a lot more to do to grow our community in the coming years. The challenges we faced have only strengthened our resolve, and while we are deeply sad—
You didn't even offer them refunds for your dog shit game. They're not gonna stay. What the hell?
By today's decision, and
Concord buyers are all refunded, including physical editions of the game. Oh, yeah, you're actually right. Yeah, wow. But then again, nobody even fucking bought the game. Imagine how many people bought this game. Probably even less.
To our incredible team, this shift allows us to focus on delivering ongoing updates and performance optimization for Mind's Eye, while also ensuring the long-term success of Build a Rocket Boy's future ambitions. So look, according to IGN, in the UK, when you start the process for a mass layoff, it's usually when an employer is looking to cut 100 or more jobs. They have 300 UK employees and around 200 abroad in their other studios.
Oh my god, everyone's getting shafted.
So it's safe to say that a huge chunk is getting fired. It's really interesting to me, though, that in their statement, they're saying that there's going to be a long-term success of Build a Rocket Boy, meaning that the studio isn't closing after this disaster. But personally, I'd keep an eye out in the coming months because anything can happen, and I really don't see the studio sticking around for any longer. This was their big chance, and they unfortunately completely blew it. Their Glassdoor page isn't doing very well, okay? Employees are pissed, rating it—
Wait. I'm gonna read these, hold on. Great atmosphere, labor, former employee more than a year. No pressure, and the people are nice. Cons, like every other job, but nothing in particular. Wait, I wish I could have this fucking well of a outlook on my job. I gave mine a 1 out of 10 or a 1 out of 5.
Well, okay, employees are pissed, rating it a 2.3 out of 5. 30% of them would recommend to a friend, and 26% approve of the CEO, who is Leslie Benzies.
Hey,
One of those
that's 1 out of 4. That's not that bad.
employees said, $500 million invested into this mess. No wonder our biggest backer all but pulled out when they finally saw what was actually getting produced. So now we really don't know just how much this cost. We know that over $45 million were invested into it by private investors, but then again, this game was developed over the course of like 8 years. Is this truly another Concord? I mean, Concord was 400 million. This is 500? That's even worse. And thanks to thegamebusiness.com, we know exactly just how bad of a disaster Mind's Eye truly was. When it released, it had around 250,000 players, with a majority, around 150,000, on PlayStation. Now that PlayStation has opened refunds, these 150,000 can be significantly less. And the players on PC are only at 35,000, with only 3,000 actually launching the game, so you can bet many of them refunded. Additionally,
that's abysmal.
Okay, and this wasn't really advertised until the game came out. The whole level editor that was advertised was only available on PC and not on console. This was even more
RIP console bozos.
More salt in the wound, okay? This was just such a disaster. Look, of course I feel bad for the employees, but I can't help but feel especially bad for the lead actor. He's actually very talented and was previously in the game Mafia 3. Unfortunately, that game also didn't get the best reception, and now he's part of Mind's Eye. He was interviewed by the YouTube channel Check It TV after the game had released, and while the interview is like over 21 minutes and part 2 is over 44 minutes, I'm just going to show you a snippet that was posted on TikTok so that you can see what he had to say. Watch.
He released something that seemed to not be ready in that way. It's
not his fault. I don't know why people are giving him shit. Genuinely, I don't know. I will not understand that. It's not his fault that they basically scammed everyone.
A complicated reception.
I feel bad.
I'm proud of the people that I worked with. It's a shame that the game...
Yo, Mia with the raid! Woblocks raid. Bitch, we ain't playing no Woblocks. Hi, Mia! Thank you so much for the raid! We're just finishing out a Mojin video about a dog shit GTA 6 clone. I changed my name to Bulldozer. You're so cool for that. Are you gonna play Woblocks? I bet you Mia could probably make a better game than this dog shit, unironically. Yeah, this game is some straight ass. Her name is Boobdozer. Buddy, simmer down. Bulldozer, not Boobdozer. Get your head out of the gutter, buddy.
Gameplay in particular has received such negative reception. In terms of bugs, as a gamer myself, I completely understand the frustration. There's a shared frustration in like, why would you as a company release something that seemed to not be ready in that way?
I would probably chalk this up to the same thing as being in an agency as a VTuber, and the agency itself is dog shit. And you're just like sitting there like twiddling your thumbs waiting for your contract to expire. I genuinely don't think it's your fault. He's not even defending it. He's just saying like, oh, you know, I tried my best and I did not succeed. You know.
Put the bugs aside, like whether or not people are into it, that's between them and them, right?
Yeah.
If by any chance there's a casting director watching this video, guys, please hire him. Can we please just put him in a good game? Please. Thank you. Look, whether you can see this or not, we're already in a gaming depression. Layoffs in the industry have been...
That looked like AI. Why are they glitching like that? Hello?
Thank you.
Do you
Look,
see
whether
that
you can
shit?
see this or not, we're already in a gaming depression. Layoffs in
What?
in the industry have been rampant. The golden days of the pandemic are gone. And developers have to accept that. Ambition is good to have, but unrealistic scopes will kill your entire studio. Here's hoping that this stops, but I'm not gonna lie, I am kind of tempted to play this game just to see the crazy glitches I'll find.
What?
In the end though, if you're gonna take anything from this video, stop pre-ordering games. And thank you so much for watching until the end. I love you so much.
Stop buying early access and pre-order games. It pisses me the fuck off. Stop it.
The sponsor really wanted me to talk about the game at the end of the video as well, so I'm about to do that. But before I do, I can't leave you without a good ol' mwah! And now, the ad. All right, thank you so much for watching the video. As a reminder, Silver and Blood is now
Vampire
out,
titties,
and they're
chat.
also currently running an event by the name of What Hue Does Your Blood Hold? Where you can win some
What?
really cool prizes. So if you're
Wow,
interested, make sure to check out the
gotcha
pinned comment
prizes?
or the description
Dude,
and
look at her
download the
fat
game
titties,
today.
man. I love it. Holy.